Are you still waiting?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just go through the
Yeah. That makes sense.
the transport.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this event. So I'm glad to introduce and I'm introduced to Alexander Herti, who will lead this session. So welcome everybody to Astro Labs. I'll give the stage to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and thanks for thank you for coming. Very much for you, and also to the guys who are late question. And thank you for attending. So today's topic is basically how we can generate B2B leads for a low cost that mainly goes into cold outreach. I will give you a brief overview about everything, but more on that in the next slide. So basically, these are the 5 main parts we'll be talking about today. First, we'll start with a quick introduction. So why actually that's what I'm saying matters to you. The second part will be the offer, how you create your offer, how you can optimize your offer so that it's more appealing to the customer or to the potential lead that you're actually reaching out to. Third part will be the targeting, how do you identify your perfect or ideal target group. The fourth part will be the actual lead generation and lead generation strategies behind it. And the fifth part will be my own lead magnet, but I will be talking more about that in the second part, basically about offer.
Since we're live on YouTube, if you can also use this one, we have a comment there.
Sure. Alright, hopefully getting on better. So basically, we'll be starting with an introduction about myself. So I'm pretty young, as you can see maybe. I'm 23 years old and I've been doing marketing since I'm 20 years old. I started with dropshipping, running Facebook ads, so basically paid advertising at the age of 20. And pretty soon I noticed that I wanted to go into another direction, so I created my own B2B lead generation company. In the year 2023 alone, we booked something around 500 and 1,000 meetings for ourselves and for our customers together. So now starting with the offers. Some of you have already reading the book 100 Million Offers by Herti. Or evaluated about it? No one? Alright then, then I have a lot to talk to you. So basically, how is value defined? Value is basically defined as a simple formula. He talks about in this book a lot, and that's also maybe like the most important part of the book. So it's the dream outcome multiplied by the perceived likelihood of achievement, divided by time delay, times effort and sacrifice. So what does it mean? The dream outcome is where your customer or your lead ideally wants to get to. For our case, this will be, of course, as much ROI as possible. Like for a coach, in terms of fitness coach, for example, the dream outcome will be to get abs or to get a big biceps. And the perceived likelihood of achievement basically means how likely is he will get to this point? How likely is it that that guy will actually get the abs? How likely is it that he will get a big biceps or whatsoever? How likely is it in our case that the customer will get a lot of booked appointments and a high ROI? Time delay, how long does it take the customer to get there? How long does it get him to get to the dream outcome? And the effort of sacrifice is what does he have to sacrifice? Is it money? Is it time? Is it something else? And basically by increasing the upper part of the formula and decreasing the lower part of the formula, you will increase your value. There are basically 5 main things about offers that you can always use as a lever to increase it as much as possible. So the first one is being urgency. Urgency basically means the offer that you are doing is limited in terms of time. So for example, you have a promotion only for Valentine's Day, since it's only there. You have a Christmas promotion, you have a Black Friday promotion. And people can buy it only in a certain amount of time. So for example, I'm offering something, in 2 weeks it ends, it creates urgency for the customer. The second part is scarcity. Scarcity basically means you are limited in terms of what you can offer to the customer. So, for example, you are one-on-one coach. You can only serve a limited amount of customers in the case. And that's what scarcity means. So, for example, me as an agency, I'm also limited to what my team is actually capable to do. Otherwise, we will be getting people into a waitlist. So let's say we have like five more open slots for people to join in. Otherwise, they will be coming on a waitlist. That's what basically scarcity means. Third part is guarantees. So guarantees are basically there to reduce the risk. So by this, you will increase the perceived likelihood of achievement. For example, in our case, we guarantee 20 good appointments. Otherwise, the customer will either get the money back, or we will continue to work for free until they will reach that goal. And that way, you will reduce the risk for the customer, make it more appealing to them. The fourth part.
Can you repeat the example, please?
Hmm?
Can you repeat the example?
In our case, is it that way that if somebody doesn't reach 20 good appointments on average a month within 60 days, then we will either work for free or return the money back. This can be, of course, different, depends on the niche and the industry you're working with. For a fitness coach, for example, if you don't reach six-pack within 90 days or half a year, then you will get the money back. Or let's say you are a consulting agency, right? If you don't double your growth in 2 years, then you will get the money back.
Do you often find, Alex, pragmatic or sensible to have CEOs and COOs, for example, interested in having an outcome as number of bookings rather than number of dollar value after conversions? Would conversions and dollar value be more of a better ROI?
Yeah, sure. It would
number
be,
of booked meetings?
Sure, it would be, but since this isn't like our part, but it's rather more the part of the company itself. For how much you close them, for how much the company will close them, or how much revenue they will make out of them, it's basically not on our terms. We will just book the appointments from our side, and what the customer makes out of it, he will make out of it.
So your job ends with the bookings.
Yeah.
So the more the bookings, the better the quality of the leads. That's it.
Exactly.
That's literally the scope.
Yeah, that's what we are doing. Right. The third part are bonuses. Sorry for the bad writing. The fourth part are bonuses. So basically, if you're a coach, for example, and you have an online course, you will give a free video, or you will give like a free whole section. This bonuses can be in that terms, but you can also make it bonuses something, for example, in my case, you will give the first 5 weeks for free. If I would have a different offer. This all, as said, everything depends on the industry, everything depends on the niche, and can be all justified. And the fifth one is basically the name. This does sound somehow sounds a little bit superficial, but overall, the psychological effect on people in terms of naming is pretty big. If you just offer something everybody does, you will also stick it to the value that everybody pays. So let's say that way. We have our offer called profitable profit fund system. If I would just call it digital marketing, it's less appealing than the specific name that you will use.
Digital marketing versus what's the other?
Profitable profit fund system.
Profitable?
Prospect fund system.
Prospect system?
Yes. It's actually specifically starting everything with the process. And one thing about offers overall, there's such a thing called free payment. People enjoy free stuff. So whenever you give out something for free, it's the best. And it also has a huge psychological effect on the people. If if you have ever heard about Robert Cialdini, someone of you?
What's that?
That's a psycho from the US. A very famous one. You've written some books.
No, what's the name again?
Robert B. Cialdini. Influence. Influence. You maybe, yeah, yeah, exactly. So basically, what he tells is that the most expensive stuff is the stuff you don't pay any money for. So, for example, you go to Douglas and you will get like a free pro perfume, you know? Or what you can see in Dubai everywhere. You basically walk by and people start holding you the scents in front of your nose. It's free, right? But it isn't. Because they're trying to attract you that way. And that's how you basically use lead magnets. Lead magnets can be everything. You can have a free first call, for example, free first coaching session. In our case, we will provide free 50 to 100 leads in terms of data growth to our customers. But lead magnets is basically the first thing that you need to have in order to reach out to cold people. Because whenever someone's called, he's really skeptical. He doesn't know you. He may never hear about you, specifically if you're not understanding his brand. And that's what you would need in order to get his trust, and so know that he also knows that you know what you're doing. So that's basically everything about offers. I mean, I could also talk long about it, but we are limited on time. So now we're getting to the target group, right? So target group is basically defined in four main parts. It's the demographic, geographic, physiographic, and behavior. More about that on the next slide. You of course have like a lot of underpoints of each one, right? So demographic will be basically everything you will be able to see on scale. For example, age, company size. For B2B clients, employee headcount, job position, niche, experience, or everything else which you can basically get on the scale. Gender would be also, for example, demographic. Geographic is basically where's the customer located, right? Where are you getting your target group from? What city, what country, what state, maybe even what district within Dubai if you're like a restaurant, right? Then we have sociographic, that's basically what are the values, what are the pains, interests, hobbies, and so on of the customer. So, for example, you are, let's use the same example, you are a coach of fitness, and you will be looking for people to get in a better physical shape, right? Where would you be looking for these people normally? Maybe in Facebook groups where you have motivational groups, right? And you try to combine it that way that the hobbies and interests match with the rest of it, match with the target group. Or maybe the pains that you can find it in specific LinkedIn groups, right? And behavior is normally how do the people behave? Do they want to purchase a product or color, right? So conscious or unconscious, or maybe even irrational. Irrational is a pretty good example for like big brands like Louis Vuitton or Gucci that don't have that value that they normally are selling for, right? That's like an irrational behavior of people buying stuff just because of high prices. Or also like another example would be like art, right? Where the prices just came out of nothing. Of course, the artist is famous. And basically, about target groups, everybody also should be mission bound. So if you are not Apple, if you're not Google, if you are not like a super big brand like SAP or whatsoever, you should be always try to niche down onto one or two niches that you are best in. The reason for that is also, let's give it that way, you have customer testimonials, right? The people always want to know how do you perform with your clients, right? If you give them customer testimonials of totally different niches, how should they know whether this will perform in their niche, right? So always try to get it as tight as possible and as targeted as possible. Of course, most of the companies will say, yeah, our target group is basically everyone, or all B2B companies. That's what I mean like all the time. But as said, if you're not like a super big company, you always should try to niche down. Are there any questions regarding target groups?
So when we talk about B2B, and when we talk about geographic target groups, how should we aim at? Should we aim at the target group of the business, the customers of our businesses, or where our businesses are located?
It's a good question. So I would normally go on the business itself. Because if the businesses, let's say you are targeting businesses in the UAE, I would go for the business in the UAE because you always have other laws and so on in other countries, of course. So you don't know whether this will actually match the other country in the abroad, let's say that. So I would go for the business in that case in terms of B2B. Anyone? Alright, let's continue. So in terms of task groups, you should always build a database of contacts that you already have. Like once you've done all the steps that I've just mentioned, and you can identify your ideal target group. After that, you should build a database of contacts. So there are different tools for that, like Apollo.io or whatsoever. You can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I will show you in some seconds how you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator as well. And like this, you can build a database of contacts. You will have several tens of thousands, maybe some thousands, maybe even hundreds, depends on the niche. It could be also some hundreds of thousands or even millions. And then you should deliver valuable information and content. So that's also the thing about the lead magnets. You need to get the people interested into you because you want to sell them something. They don't want directly to buy something from you. They don't know you, and you need to be valuable to them and actually to have some kind of impact on the people. And maybe I should already go on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and show now. So whenever you're using LinkedIn, on the top right hand side over there, you would have the Sales Navigator if you have purchased it. Of course, it depends on where you're sitting and something around $100 a month. But it's probably one of the most strongest tools that we have out there to actually identify a target group in terms of B2B. In terms of B2C, not, but in terms of B2B, it's probably one of the most strongest tools out there. So, on top you have a search bar, as you can see, and on the left hand side you have a lot of different filters. So, what you can now basically do, you can identify the company for B2B clients, what kind of business are you targeting? Big businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, or even self-employed. You can go also for the company type that way. Always depends on the B2B sphere. But most of the time, I don't use those at all. So, current job title. Who are you targeting? Who is your main decision maker you want to reach out to? If you're selling HR services, it would be the HR manager. If you're selling marketing services, it would be the marketing manager. Or if you're targeting small businesses, it would be most of the time the owner, CEO, or founder. So that's what you would need to identify before actually searching for it. You can go for the seniority level as well. It would be just making it a little quicker, I would say, if you go directly for online partner. And you can also go for years and current positions. So what does make this? So for example, say that you have a pretty new CEO, you have a pretty new HR manager, and he's maybe inexperienced, like getting a little bit more years in there, let's say from 3 to 10 years, you'll have more experience of the person, and maybe potentially they will be also having more money like that, as if you're targeting someone completely new in this position. As said, here you have the geography of the personal. Here you can go for postal codes, for cities, for countries, or specific areas as well. Industry, profile language, and again, years of experience. What's also pretty cool about the sales navigator is you can go, you have like a pretty new thing that's called category interest and buyer intent. These are quite new features, so I wouldn't rely 100% on them, but it's still something you can definitely use. But as said, these are quite new features from the sales navigator, so the data will not be 100% correct. What I would definitely be looking for. Wait a second. Yeah. Here you have groups for LinkedIn, for example, have specific groups. And like that, you can also target specific people. I will give an example. For example, I'm generating leads, right? There are groups on LinkedIn that are basically made for lead generation. You can get specifically the leads out of this group to actually contact these people that are already interested in it. If you are a fitness coach, you can look for fitness groups, and so on. That's about the sales navigator, which you can actually use to identify target.
What about other platforms like Google Maps, Yellow Pages?
Yeah, Google Maps you can also use. It always depends on your tool. As said, for B2B, LinkedIn sales is probably the best tool. In terms of B2C or B2B sphere, if you're targeting restaurants or something or gyms, you can also go for Google Maps, but you would also need to find a scraper, just like G2 or something.
What?
A scraper.
Script, yes.
A scraper, for example, like G2. It's typical scraper.
G2.
Yeah, it's a scraper for Google Maps. But there are like different databases. So there you have Stories, for example, Stories.app, and many others. Okay, so now we got already to the outreach part.
Many other alternatives to G2, you said, or to Google Maps?
To databases overall. G2 is a scraper specifically for maps. But I think they also do other scrapers. You also have scrapers for Facebook and Instagram pages. But how accurate they will be, it always depends. Like, there will be a lot less emails, for example, and less contact information than you have in other platforms. Like
G2 like a review website?
it's a scraper. It's a data scraper. So we will scrape data like that. That's publicly available.
The letter G and the number 2.com.
Yes. I'm not sure if it's .com, but it's called G2.
Oh.
So just type in G2 and you'll find it.
Yeah, so like a review website, you could get like T2 product reviews.
So now when we came already to the lead generation part, there are basically four main methods how you can generate leads. So this is basically defined into one outreach, cold outreach, content marketing, and paid ads. You of course have different strategies and different subpoints over every one of these. You can do content marketing on Instagram, on Facebook. You can do paid ads on Google. You can do paid ads on Facebook. You can do paid ads on LinkedIn. We will of course now in this presentation mainly focus on cold outreach. But overall, we have these 4 points as let's say that they combine together that you can potentially use to market to people. In terms of levers, you have also 4 levers that you can use to increase all of these 4 points. You have first of all the employees that can manage stuff. Let's say if you do cold outreach, you can do cold calling, you can do cold email, and so on. You can use employees to take over the cold calls because you're limited in how many cold calls you do a day. You can get one employee to double the amount of cold calls, one employee to triple it, one employee to quadruple it. And basically, despite other than employees, you have referrals that you can do warm outreach for you. Because let's say you got a customer, he was happy, and you will reach out to his warm audience for you. These are the referrals. You have the affiliates that will do basically all of it, and the agencies that would also take simple parts out of it. These are the 4 levers that you can take basically advantage of in terms of marketing. But as said, we are now focusing on cold outreach and maybe on LinkedIn.
4 levers being phone, email,
the 4 levers that you can take are employees,
employees,
affiliates,
affiliates, okay,
referrals,
referrals,
and the last one being agencies.
Agencies. Right. Okay. I think there are more. You can add more.
For sure.
Like, for example, product-led growth, PLG. There's also CLG, community-led growth. I
So
personally, even when I
all
build
of this
sales,
Yeah, but all subtypes of this one. The levels that I'm talking about are like actual, not directly connected to marketing that you do it yourself. It's everything that goes outbound. So if you got an affiliate, if you got a referral, you don't do the outreach yourself, for example. You don't. If you have an employee who manages your content, you don't do the content yourself.
so do you mean that these four levers apply to, I'm not sure if I got you right, they apply to certain parts, not all four? Did I get you right?
Yes, it depends on the levels. Like an employee can take care of everything. For example, you can run pay tests, or you can do cold outreach, you can do the content marketing, or the normal. If the employee is skilled enough.
Employees, referrals, and
Referrals are, for example, only for warm outreach. Because they are referring, they are going to their close friends. Let's say you got close to an agency who's doing that.
employees, referrals, affiliates, and
Agencies.
Agencies.
And yeah, basically, as I said, we are going now on cold outreach itself. So I've prepared two tools for you that you can use for LinkedIn directly, where you can create sequences to reach out to people within the sales engagement. So let's say you got like your sales engagement list, you've saved it, and you got now your target group, you got your lead magnets, and so on. Now you need to start to reach out to these people. Now you can go and get one of these two tools. It's Bus.ai and Notify that will connect to your LinkedIn account, send out automatic requests, send out automatic messages, send out automatic likes, or maybe even skill endorsements to actually interact with the person as much as possible.
On LinkedIn as a platform.
Yeah, on LinkedIn as a platform, right?
Okay.
On LinkedIn as a platform.
On LinkedIn.
Yeah. There are, of course, like I said, there are a lot of different outreach methods for cold outreach. Cold emailing being our main offer, basically. You can basically outreach on every different social media platform that is out there, right? So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatsoever. But now we just try to focus on LinkedIn outreach, and this are, in my opinion, the best tools that you can use out there. Groupify is pretty good roundabout approaches.
Okay. Alex, for me, for example, I don't take my LinkedIn messages as serious as someone calling me or messaging me or WhatsApping me. So if I want to complete the game and scrape off the phone number and the email of that particular person where I communicate with them via Outlook or by dialing form, cold calling them.
Yes.
What other tools I can use other than those
For
outside of
cold
LinkedIn?
calling, for example, you can use simple CRM systems like Pepper connected to Dialog.
But then to connect between LinkedIn with the database of all of these people after filtering them, which is the output of the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, now I have a whole list of people that I'm interested in calling or emailing, but I don't want to do it on email. On LinkedIn, sorry. But I want to do it on email. So to connect between this other platform, let's say Outlook, I need to have an email address.
Yeah,
So how can I get that?
Yeah, you have to scrape off like a whole.
A quote.
Yeah. But as I said, these are just like two tools that I showed you specifically for LinkedIn outreach because there are too many and we have only like 40 or 50 minutes.
So if I was to use Apollo, for instance, right? A lot of your email may tend to go into spam. So how do you solve for that besides using warm-up or using SMS or that?
So we ourselves are doing a lot to not actually get into spam. Actually, this would be the next step. Maybe just go to this is something actually in the whole email outreach. So in terms not to get into spam, first of all set up your domain properly. You choose your hosting properly. you have a lot of different hostings. You have Gmix, you have Zoho, you have Google Workspace, Microsoft Outlook. So for right now, basically the best tools for hosting are Workspace and Outlook. Workspace
and Workspace.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have the biggest probability to not get into this kind. But that's still not enough. After that, you have them, you got the domain connected to them, and you already have like a business email. Let's say alex.herti@domain.com, right? You would still need to get free DNS records in there. So you need to have SPF, DMARC, and DKIM. These are all spam records in order to identify that your email isn't phishing, to identify that your email isn't spam, to actually get into the inbox and not into the spam folder. And after that, we will always run with our customers normally 2 weeks or 1 month. So we will get into a group with other email inboxes. We'll be sending each other emails that maybe don't make any sense in terms of what's in there. But whenever email gets into the spam folder, it will be marked as non-spam, and like that you will get your reputation better, and in the future when you start with the actual campaign, it will not get into the spam folder.
And is there a specific service you would recommend for warm-ups? Because there's just so many out there. Which one would you recommend?
Lemlist, for example.
Which ones are
Lemlist?
Lenders?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are different for one. And the second part, we usually segment the people. So you can segment people in terms of language, right? But let's go keep to it brief. For example, reaching out to several countries. You will segment the different countries and write emails in different languages. Or you have 2 or 3 different industries. You will create different emails for each different industry, like that increase the conversion rate. The third part, being personalization through AI. It sounds really, how to say, high tech, but in terms of that, it's just an API integration that you use with the semi tool, and like that, you will be able to create prompts that uses data rows out of the spread data. So, for example, what we have done, we've sent out cold emails into the US using their location to create a prompt about the weather in their city. So, if let's say you're living in New York and you're living in Texas and Austin, right? For you, it will be generating something like, hey, I saw that the weather outside was really cold, hope you're staying warm and cozy. And for you, it will generate something like, I hope you're enjoying the sunny days in Austin, right? That way, you will get a touch of personalization in it, that people will think about it, to actually research something about them, and are more likely to open the email and also to interact with the email, because you actually made some effort to get into it, right? The one part being the A/B testing, so you can A/B test everything, right? So split testing everything. You can split test the CTAs, reply on email, Calendly link, crawling, funnel, just some examples. You can even have more CTAs than that. You can be split testing the main part of the email or even the personalization through the AI that you're using. You will be able to also split test different AI first sentences and have a look which will actually perform better. After the A/B split testing, the fifth part we will be searching for a winner. So basically, out of every campaign that we tested, out of every split test we run, which one is the best performing? Which one has the best KPIs in terms of conversion, in terms of reply rate? Then you will be focusing on the winner, and then you start scaling and sending out more emails, or in terms of LinkedIn,
Winner here
more.
being the script.
Yes. Basically, script, AI prompt, CTA, everything combined together, what's performing the best. We'll be only focusing on this and try to scale it as much as possible. For example, if you're sending LinkedIn outreach, we'll be trying to connect more LinkedIn accounts to that in order to send out more messages and to actually try to profit from that. Why I now specifically use cold outreach overall, because it's probably the cheapest method, like in terms of generating leads, if you just do not count one outreach, because in one outreach everybody at some point will just out of one outreach. For many people, 200, 300, 400. But at some point it's like 2 or 3 days of calling and it's it. Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
So content in that context, whatever you publish, it goes on the newsfeed of the
Content is in terms of content marketing. Content marketing is pretty big.
across all channels you mean, or a particular channel that you're in the context of you?
Content marketing is, like I said, pretty big. It can be Instagram, it can be content marketing in email, it can be content marketing everywhere.
Channel. Okay.
So it's also actually at least somehow part of the
Cool. Email warm up and setup. The gentleman here asked about some services that I'm honestly not familiar with enough. But how does it work? Like, you would have, let's say, Google Workspace, and then you would spend like 2 weeks sending it internally. What does such kind of email service do exactly?
So you have these groups with different inboxes. It's not internal, it's actually external emails.
Okay,
So you have, let's say, for example, Alex at Microsoft.com, and you would have, what's your name? Kusagi at Apple.de, for example, right? You will go to this group, and you'll be sending each other emails. And whenever one email gets into the spam folder, it will automatically get out of the spam, marked as not spam, in order to get your reputation in terms of that.
So the automation of such kind of service is there exactly to unspam.
Yeah. Yes.
Gotcha.
You have to accept the terms basically when I'm doing.
What are some of the most famous services again?
Lambda.
What's that?
Lambda.
lemlist.com.
LEM?
L-I-S-T. Lembist as well.
LEM?
Yeah, just put in email warm up in Google and you get a whole bunch of services. And then what they
You
do
can
is
even
they
use
have
it
like
for
1,000
free, like
mailboxes of their own, where they shoot your email to across different servers. They will send some to Workspace, some to Outlook, some to Zoho, different hosts. It's their own mailboxes, and they remove from spam. That's how your reputation goes up. So when you eventually do end up sending it to a client, it hits their inbox.
Excellent.
Exactly. And that's like I said, that's the exact process that we're using. And as already mentioned before, the lead magnet. So whoever needs help in terms of identifying the target group. We are doing this completely free by sending out a data row of 50 to 100 people with emails, with SEO descriptions, company descriptions, phone numbers, corporate phone numbers, not private phone numbers, just so you know, LinkedIn profiles and so on. And we have a little form for that. So after that, we'll be sending also the form, and you'll be knowing how your target group ideally looks like. Or if you need help to, you can also feel free to call me whenever you're filling up the document and asking questions about that. And as I said, you will be getting the document and the list of the 50 surroundings.
And these things will be from Sales Navigator and Apollo, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. As also mentioned before, these are some testimonials we currently have. Most of them located in Germany. Actually, all of them. All of them located in Germany. That we're running campaigns with. As said, testimonials always important to have within them, because otherwise, how should the customer know that you will be actually able to perform for you? I need to work like half a year for free until I actually was able to charge money. And that's the power of testimonials, because once you have them, you can also start charge money.
So you mentioned that you end your service with a booking because you can't control the rest of the sales funnel.
That's
but if you understand the customer's value proposition, and if you were able to control the price to an extent, would you provide a full stack service?
In terms of closing,
your agency specific. Yeah.
In terms of closing,
yeah.
No, because we don't have any closers. So we're trying.
Because you don't have
any closers in house.
No closers in house.
Yeah, we need to close those people. And the main reason why we're not doing this is we need to get familiar with the company. We need to get familiar with the company ideology. We need to get familiar with the service, with the pain points of the customers. That's everything combined only something that either the owner can understand, or if you're a medium or big sized company, only the CEO can understand.
And do you provide a service where you can connect a company with a sales agency, for instance, that can take over the show?
You can do that for Baltimore as well. But there are closing companies out there.
And you're feeling
well percentages, for example. I even know some friends that
Okay, so you have affiliate companies that do closing for clients.
I have one friend I know he's coaching sales guys to actually do closing calls.
Okay.
So there are also spots I know either working for a percentage or for a fixed commission or something like this. Right?
Do you have any customers here?
In the UAE, exactly not. I have most of them are in Germany, some of them are in the US, but mostly Germany. Yes. Right. Not yet in the UAE. So thank you basically everyone for listening. You can feel free to ask questions now. And also whoever want to contact me, here's some information and as well here's some QR code so you can directly connect with me or email me the presentation in the middle QR code. Right?
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.